For the next 10 days, I will be learning how to draw faces, streetwear, characters, and more. I will be doing this from literally zero experience. Learning how to draw is something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid, but everything always came out mediocre at best. So today I will be taking the first steps into learning how to draw. I'm trying to turn into Picasso up in this joint. Every step I take in this video will increasingly get harder and harder. Fun for you and, well, literally hell for me. Will I be able to learn how to draw in the next 10 days? The timer starts now. Alright, so first I set up my trusty camera setup. Before I did anything, I pulled up a picture of my favorite character and attempted to draw her. And well, to be honest, that drawing looking pretty trash. Look at the legs, look at the jaw, look at the hands. Oh god, they're both bad. By the way, it took 30 minutes to draw that. By the end of the video, I hope to cut that time down by at least half, while making it way better. After drawing her, I was off to learn about the basics. We gotta be drawing some goddamn circles. Oh! So you may be like, drawing circles is easy, you noob. Have you ever drawn a big circle before? No, like actually have you? Because this thing is 10 times harder than you think it would be. Drawing small circles are fairly easy, but once you try to attempt a circle about the size of your whole palm, that's when they become hard. Here I start a new exercise to boost my line confidence. Basically, short sketches are bad, long continuous lines are good. I'm practicing trying to do long continuous lines because you use circles a lot when trying to simplify the human body. Stuff like heads, shoulders, knees, elbows. Yeah, I don't think there's any joints there. But anyways, during my 2 hours of drawing circles, lines, and ovals that look like glizzies, I'd say I made some pretty good progress. But I also realized that 10 days was going to be a really short amount of time to get this done. I was doing extra because I was trying to make my character look fancy. By the way, all these ovals looking pretty trippy. I feel like some Travis about to start playing. This art stuff got me stressing. Drawing in pen got me stressing too. And you may be like, what are you doing drawing in pen? Well, basically drawing in pen allows you to see your mistakes easier. If you freak up, there's no going back. You're going to have to live with that mark until you switch papers. Alright, it's time to take it up another level to something even harder. Here I'm gonna start learning perspective. To keep it simple, I'm basically learning how to make things look 3D. Immediately I went to start practice making these 3D stuff, and to be honest, this is looking like some Alien versus Predator type shit. All the blocks remind me of Black Clover. Seriously, this exercise was starting to get frustrating. I even switched to pencil for part of it. Only problem with the pencil is dang on it, the lead always freaking breaks off. But as you see, once I switched to pencil, it was a bit easier to see what I was doing. But after I finished some of those, I needed a little break. So I decided to play a quick game. You know what this game is? Yeah, after that, I came back and started to work on some more 3D boxes. And with that, I clocked in at 6 hours on day 1. Here I did some more practice. And I did some more research on the basics. And that's when I realized, damn it, when drawing circles, you're supposed to be using your elbows and shoulders. I had been using my wrists this whole time, which is actually really hindering. Using your wrist for circles is like trying to drive a car upside down with your feet. But drawing circles with my whole arm was tiring. My arm was feeling really heavy. I thought my gamer muscles would help me use my arm for longer, but I guess not. Also, I definitely didn't draw over my sister's circles. Totally not me. So now I take my first steps into structuring the human body. Again, the human body can be simplified into simple shapes. And I tried to do that, but look what I did to her. Not one part of her body is not jacked up. Also, I was practicing some ribs over here, and even that's looking kind of sus. And then when I look at this dude's head, I'm like, yeah, nah, freak this. So I go to look for multiple other art teachers on YouTube. That way I can choose which one I want to learn from instead of doing whatever I was doing. Eventually I find this guy, and this guy Mark will be the GOAT for today's video. He will be making this hellhole a lot less stressing. And to be honest, at first I was still messing up. Like, I don't know what type of regimen this character on. After a bit of practice, I decided to call it a night and head to sleep. It was day 3 and I realized I really needed to kick it into high gear. The deadline was slowly getting closer and closer, and my drawings were still trash. So quickly I started the day by watching a video my brother had sent me, which helped things start to click. If I wanted to get good at art, I had to practice the same thing over and over again. Now, I know this sounds pretty simple, but you'll be surprised by how many people don't try to perfect anything and just try to be mediocre at everything. In the morning I did some more of the basics, and then I started a harder 3D box exercise, one that I couldn't complete yesterday, but after a good night to sleep, it became fairly easy, even praiseworthy.
Oh snap, what is that?
Just learning perspective and how to draw boxes.
What?
Now I decided to take it up a notch. It was scary doing this exercise, and I hated that I had to do it in pen. There was no way I was going all the way upstairs to get a pencil. Things eventually got really messy, so I decided to flip the page over and start again. After loads of boxes and stretching later, I can say that for the most part, I completely understand how to make the boxes from almost any angle. But wait, I lied! There was still an even harder challenge. It even said that this challenge was gonna be a doozy. Now, I don't know what that word means, but it scares me. Let's do a quick Google research. Something outstanding or unique of its kind? Okay, so basically my box is gonna be on that alien type beat. Yeah, I'm scared. If you didn't know, unless you're a god tier artist, you're probably using references to create your art. We were gonna be creating boxes from straight up imagination though. Alright, so I was making some boxes and might have hyped the boxes up a little bit. The last exercise was way harder, but now I start something that's actually seriously hard. Before I started doing that, I kinda got roasted though. But anyways, we were gonna be drawing hair and heads, but then I realized something horrible. I still can't draw a circle. Oh my god. Freak the boxes. It's time to grind some more circles. Circle. What? My pen's been freaking up my desk. No more circles. Free Bozo. Bozo got freaked up. Alright, it's time for the moment of truth. The first circle of the session. Can I draw a perfect circle? Will I do it? Am I good enough? Oh my god, perfect circle in one go. I'm a legend, a prodigy. Anyways, boom, back to this girl, and aw, she's looking like Mrs. Steal Your Man. Yeah, no. If I ran across her in real life, I'd definitely book it across the street in 2 seconds flat. But now this guy is somewhat presentable. To my fish. Here I start to grind out some heads. I mean, look at this beautiful sight here. Also, each time I drew the face, I kept noticing more and more that I was improving. And bit by bit, the primate turned into a human. The final version of human Uwu reject though. But to put this in perspective, Mark can draw this face in less than a minute when these monkeys took at least 10 minutes each. But progress is progress. We're done and 996 to go. Yeah, no, I'm trolling. Good night, I'm going to bed, freak that. Alright, today's mission is to learn how to make a human, and the plan is just to simply grind it out. Okay, so I did that, and after a while, you could see that the shape of the head and the neck down was looking really clean. But the thighs could literally kill someone. And already the second sketch was having some better human proportions. They kind of look like some chibi characters, you know, characters with really short legs and stuff. But yeah, these sketches turned out pretty decent. Nate, you think I have enough time to complete this challenge? Day 5, alright, everyone calm down, we're at the halfway point, and I still can't draw a perfect human. Wait, what is she looking at? That dude kinda sus. Seriously though, we got a lot to get done. The hair, the body, the face, the drip. So today I decided to start practicing with the reference of this girl I found. Alright, time to do some analytical thinking. So when I first observed this girl, I realized that you can't see her neck. I also noticed that her head is tilted a little to the left. It's probably gonna be very hard to draw. Here the goal is to tackle the shape and the hair of the reference. Alright, so after a while I almost finished her, but I kinda thought the picture would look weird if I didn't give her legs. So I gave her legs without looking at her reference. God dang, them legs turned out jacked up. That's what happens when a noob tries to draw without a reference. Also, I drew the sword because swords are cool, but overall I kind of butchered her. She really needs to hide them legs. Alright, it's time to learn about hair. It's important to learn how to draw hair because trying to get the hair curves correct is challenging. This will help us get a step closer to drawing my favorite character. I practiced these until it was time to go to bed. One of the faces ended up kind of jacked up, but that's alright. Personally, this hair is my favorite. Time was running out and it was time to get stuff done, so I decided to grind out the very last basics. Again, basics are important. Don't want to have a repeat of day 1. First, I will be doing this exercise to learn how to curve objects, and I'll give them a sense of direction. For example, this object here is just an oval, but it could be anything: a lake, a bean, an Among Us character's glasses. But when you add the lines to it, you can see, that's definitely not a lake. I hope that made sense. Alright, so without a further ado, time to draw some goddamn glizzies. Oh dang, look at that one. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, that's enough of that. Time to draw some chicken now. Well, we're gonna be drawing the texture of chicken. Actually, I'm black, so this is actually gonna be very easy. Basically, you have to look at an object and draw the texture of it. First, I gotta do some bullying though. Alright guys, so I've been observing the chicken for 5 minutes now. I don't even know where to begin. This is by far the hardest thing I've done so far. Eventually I decided to switch to a different texture because tackling the texture of chicken is enough to send me into cardiac arrest. So I did some more simpler textures. Here in this picture, the bottom are hexagons that look like scales. The top was supposed to be hair, and the middle was supposed to be mud. It's pretty horrible. What I drew is pretty horrible, but that doesn't really matter since now I understand the very basics, enough to help me create my character. So now, time to do the stuff that's harder than anything else: drawing humans. Human hands and feet in particular. Now, from what I've heard, people hate drawing hands and feet. I mean, the hands I drew do look pretty freaked up. Look at what my hand just drew. I tried to draw a foot, so to make them look less jacked up, I decided to get down the gist of the general shapes that make up a hand. And then I decided to practice another human body. Here I somehow managed to freak up something. I think it's the fact that I drew the head way huger than the ribs, which if you think about it, would be really scary in real life. That would actually sketch me out. And those legs are long as hell. I'm gonna name her Lewanya James because she's obviously in the league. Anyways, I drew even more characters. Time to analyze them and see what I can do better next time. The first character looking pretty happy. She's happy that she didn't get messed up too bad. Her forearms are short, but besides that, she's pretty good. Now for the second sketch, yeah, I just accidentally made her ugly. Also, she has really short forearms, and this one's pretty proportionate. Until you start looking at her neck. Well, that's enough practice for today. Tomorrow marks a whole week of grinding, and today I clocked out at 10 and got some good rest. Psych! I'm stupid and I stayed up drawing. I just really wanted to learn how to draw the human body correct. I ended up drawing this girl in that time and gave her a turtleneck to hide her long neck. Yeah, I'm a pretty nice guy. I also drew Astrollo again. Thank God that I didn't draw her legs this time. Also, I made her. And she looks pretty good too. No, we're not gonna talk about the legs. Alright, it's time to get on the grind. We're practicing Yotsuba until we get her down. After not seeing this image for 7 days, I can immediately notice how her body is built and what I did wrong the first time. Last time I didn't use any guidelines, so her whole body wasn't proportionate. Her hair also seems pretty easy to me now. It has some nice simple curve shapes. Her ribbons are basically lines. But here's when the problem comes. I will have a problem with the legs. It's extremely hard for me to draw the curves on the leg. And even worse, I haven't practiced clothing at all. We can't have them looking naked like an ape. There's literally only 3 days left. Alright, let's get started. For once in my life, I actually tried really hard to draw lighter. But I couldn't get the curvature of this chin, so I was already bolding it. This was about to be challenging. The hand was looking like an organ. I spent 10 minutes on that freaking hand. So I decided to practice the hand in a separate place, which got me thinking, why don't I just practice all the parts separately, master that, so when I come back, I'll have most of it down. First, I started practicing the head. Overall, I spent 2 hours on everything. So let's take a look at the results. AKA, let's roast them. Head 6, your eyes are freaked up. Why are you smiling? 7, why is your face so skinny? 8, put your tongue back in your mouth. 9, how'd you end up so perfect? 11, how are you worse than 9? Dang, number 9 is carrying this image here. Also, she's the only one that said to subscribe. Way to go. Nala, what do you think of the drawings? Also, I decided to practice a pose where she isn't moving, which helped me notice a lot. I now realize that in the first picture, her head was tilted enough to make her hair on the left fall to the side. I had been drawing her hair stiff when it was supposed to be swaying in the air. But on that note, I decided to wrap up the night and went to sleep. Psych, I'm still a freaking idiot. I decided to stay up again to learn how the muscles were aligned, which was a bad idea because I honestly needed some sleep. Looking back on it now, I was probably messing up a lot because I was sort of tired. But hey, at least I completed a mini goal of mine. Before I went to bed, I learned how the legs were built, which would be a huge help. Leg. Alright, it's day 8 now, and I have 2 days left to complete my Yotsuba drawing. The pressure was on, and somehow my brother thought of a way to make this challenge even harder. I was now going to be drawing my character in an even more demanding pose, a pose that I haven't even practiced yet. But I decided, freak it, anything to make the final product cooler. Here's the plan. Instead of copying the image we see in front of us, I will instead draw Yotsuba by combining her features with a totally different pose, different clothes, and overall I'll be creating a different vibe. This way we can truly see how far I've come. Alright, so I started practicing a new pose, but it was whack to say the least. Definitely not a final drawing, and it was honestly pretty stressing because I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. So I had my brother take a look, and he basically told me that her legs were all jacked up. I mean, look at the difference between the gaps. My drawing looks like she's about to do a whole split. Here I started drawing feet and shoes, right next to her Astrollo, very fitting. Also, I realized that I shouldn't even be drawing feet because number 1, she's gonna be wearing shoes, and number 2, toes are way too hard to draw. Now I was looking at shoes to draw, and as you can see, I was trying to drip her out. I started practicing some Air Force Ones, but you know what? We're lucky they're not black. I also decided to practice some Vans. And then I found some Crocs. Yeah, no way I'm drawing Crocs. Trying to draw the holes would actually give me carpal tunnel. Okay, so all the shoes I drew are cool and all, but it was hard for me to find references where their foot was facing forward. So that's when Big Brain Zup decides to go on StockX so I could rotate the shoe and find the perfect angle. I'd say right about here looks right. I also took some time to learn how the shoes are constructed. First, I simplify the shoe into some easy shapes. As if you look at an image that's just a few simple shapes, it doesn't look so scary, which allowed me to improve way faster. And yeah, I kept making shoes until I got tired. And I ended the day with that. Day 9 and I was feeling good. I had a good night to sleep. And although I wasn't able to completely perfect the shoes yesterday, I still had a good feeling I'd be able to get them down since I had a good night's rest. Also, I didn't know where to fit this into the video, but if you guys want to learn how to draw characters, basically all I did was I used Drawbox lessons 1 and 2, and I used Mark Bruno's YouTube videos for the construction part. Anyways, I spent more of the day grinding, except literally the most important part, the clothes. I didn't get to practice the clothes too much today. I just hope Yotsuba doesn't turn out looking like a primate. That would be bad. So I'm gonna just go to bed and hope for the best. Alright guys, just the final day, day 10. I'm gonna jump right into it. 15 minutes on my character, Max. Alright, now this part was very stressful. I had spent over 40 hours learning how to draw. Long nights practicing the circles, learning about legs. Freaking legs! Alright, enough stalling. 3, 2, 1. Plot twist, I drew a bunch of Yotsuba. Swaggy Yotsuba, the swaggiest person on the planet. Cringing Yotsuba. Cringing because you don't clean your phone. Scared Yotsuba. Oh, is she better get blown up by a rocket? Yotsuba Nike'd out. I didn't know Yotsuba could look like that. And now for my favorite one. Drip Yotsuba with the off-white on. She's flexing on everybody today. Guys, I think I fell in love with art now. And hopefully one day I'll be able to make a manga come to life. Not everything's Among Us.
Among Us. You really think you can say that?
What the heck? Go back there. Chicken nugget.